I'm emotionally stable. It's okay.
Oh, good morning. Place to be.
Hey guys, welcome to my rooftop. I'm going to give you a tour and a little bitty history of our garden. We're on the north side of the house. This has been our main garden for 12 years now. Our garden is completely fenced in by cattle panels and then chicken wire or smaller wire to keep critters from coming in. It's been made up of raised beds that we made about that long ago, and for the past 2 or 3 years they're crumbling and falling apart. Instead of remaking them, we're going to take a different route and we're going to dismantle. We're still going to have raised beds, but they're not going to be enclosed by wood. Our walkways are too comfortable and too wide, which is nice, but it's also taking up much of the garden is actual walkways. And then the beds themselves, some of them are slightly too wide. So we're going to make it more uniform. We're preparing to till the area. We got to remove all the wood. And it's going to be a lot more compact. We're making the best use of the space we have. We also put muscadine vines on the fence itself, and the fence is pretty strong, so it grew up and out. And we had enough plants pretty much around the whole garden. So in the summertime, that's where we picked from. When we first moved here, one of the first things we wanted was muscadine vines, which we created some trellises out there. We wanted some fruit trees, peach trees over here, and plum trees, and some pear trees in the back, fig tree, some elderberry trees behind that. So off to the left, we have an open area that we've been mulching and mulching and mulching and turning into specifically an herb area. 100% mulch based, whereas the other ones are raised gardens with dirt, and we would use mulch to keep weeds down and to retain moisture. And then on the other side of the house, we have a little kitchen garden, and you saw us expanding that, and that's going to grow by 2/3, 3/4 bigger. This is going to be an exponential growth year for us. Hey guys. This video is about my new broad fork. No, it's not. Someday we'll talk about broad fork, but I'm putting it to use to pry up some big old boards. Pretty fancy. Watch this. These are old boards. And I'm gonna pry this bad boy up and say it's time to go, you know? Now, I gotta be careful because there are screws in this thing. I'm using the broad fork. It has some great garden uses. This is not one of them, but hey, I like multiplying the use of something. I'm told that my hair looks gray right now. But you like golden hour anyway. Lauren's a professional photographer. Y'all know that. The reason for this video is that we're about to do something extravagantly, potentially big, and for us, huge, like out of the ordinary. Like, what? I have not concluded this, but this may be what we do. Ready? I'm considering taking up the garden beds, like literally dismantling half of it. This section here, we've already talked about, we're revamping. We've gotten rid of the raised beds that were crumbling anyway, so we had to kind of either redo them, replace them, or we're coming up with a new strategy for our garden. In preparing these beds, I discovered a giant network of roots. I mean, roots as thick as my thumb, coming from that plant down there, which is about 60 feet from where we are, all the way up to almost down here to the tiller. Plus, from over here, there's 2 other plants. They're competing with what we're trying to do, and pulling those, I'm hurting the muscadines themselves. These 3 muscadines of all are just okay. They're not awesome. So it's not a huge loss to lose these 3 plants. We have better plants we wouldn't want to lose, but these right here could go. Cool thing about this fence is panels, so it's reusable. You can convert these panels into hoop houses. Instead of cutting and letting the muscadines regrow back, we would actually pinch them and pull them with our tekuchi, and then we would fill some back dirt in the back and actually extend the length of the garden and the leveling of the garden. So that's adding a whole new project that I did not expect. So we would make the garden bigger, and then behind you, starting at the brown house, this whole section all the way to here curves down to here, and it's just kind of an odd lay here. Remove this, extend a few beds here, or build another hoop house. That would imply killing these guys. They're elderberries. These are awesome. However, they're so prolific, it's okay to get rid of them. They affect whatever they're near. We got a new water line going in that they could affect. We got these strawberry plants that they could affect. The muscadines were a great idea, and this is a great idea, a thought that I had, but we have to contend with the roots taking over our actual planting zone, planting area. But we've had it for 12 years. That's why I'm so, are we sure this is the right move? But I think this will work. If at the end of the day, it's like, guys, we need to fence this thing again. Well, we'll fence it without the muscadines, and then it'll be fine to do it again. I don't want to till these grasses back in. That's why I'm separating them. Sometimes the entire load stays in and you have to rake to get it out. We're about to dump uphill. Let's see how it responds. This is the not so fun part. I said yes too soon. I heard it. Not much. It's still hard work if you do it wrong. You just can get too ambitious. It's so sticky. Woo! Some lessons you learn in the classroom, some you learn in the field. However you learn it, learn this. Don't try to dump a trailer while the trailer is uphill, because it's not gonna dump your stuff out. Lesson learned. Once we made the plunge to take down the fence, as usual, we bit off far more than we could chew. When we took the fence down, I decided that the garden was too sloped. It was sloped and bumpy down, so I needed to kind of bring dirt to make it more level. Even though there still is a slope, it's a lot bigger. So we extended beyond the parameters. So I decided to go into the woods with my trusty little skid steer, and I found some really nice dark dirt, and so I harvested it and dumped it. Well, what I didn't realize, though I was bringing some nice lush dirt, I was also bringing a whole lot of roots that were with that dirt. Not only was I pulling up muscadine roots from the ground already, I had to dump and then sift and scratch and pull out rocks and roots that I brought with me. So very intensive work. I leveled out what I wanted, and a lot of help from Timothy and the other boys, raking, shaping, tilling, de-rocking, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of rocks and sticks and roots, and finally got it to a beautiful shape. All of that dirt that I brought from the woods, I'm talking 20 dump trailer loads. Carefully removed the poisonous snakes that we found. Knox and I found a copperhead snake. Those are worse than rattlesnakes in that they are quiet. They are just evil quietly. Rattlesnakes will say, "I'm bad," and at least warn you, like, oh, there's something going on. That's when you back off. I brought, that I know of, at least 3 snakes, could be more, from the woods, as well as, you know, other rocks and sticks. So we had to scrape through it. Family, groups of 2s, 3s, 4s, I don't know, 10 days worth, sifting, 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 so that we could later put on a top layer of beautiful sifted dirt, dark, nice dark dirt, across the top of all of our 8 new beds, 2.5 feet wide and 60 feet long a piece, which was, you know, double what there was earlier in that section of the garden. It took a lot of hard work to get to this point. As if it wasn't enough, we're expanding the main garden, and then in the far right corner we had strawberries are new to us this year. Somebody was kind enough to give us some. We said, well, how about here? We just put them at a certain spot, and they started doing so well, like, okay, I guess this is permanent. This is a strawberry spot. So since we took the fence down, we decided, well, the garden no longer has the shape of the fence. So now we can just kind of square off. And I said, well, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. Added a whole bunch of more work to expand. We decided to make more raised beds. So we had to add cardboard, more dirt. Same idea of sifting out all the rocks and the sticks, smoothing it out, bringing layers of mulch, put railroad ties to make new tall beds, because this particular area is gonna be lifted. That took a whole nother week of extra work on the side that had nothing to do with the main area. And so we have probably tripled the strawberry area. Of course, we can grow something else for now, and when the strawberries are ready to transplant or subdivide, we will move them into their adjoining area to make that an entire strawberry patch. I was gonna pull up 4 or 5 elderberry trees, but I ended up pulling up just one, decided to just leave them and work around them. As usual, we bit off far more than we could chew, but we chewed it anyway, and we're at this point where we have made a full garden transformation. It's the middle of spring, and we're ready to plant and get going, and we hope to give you a full garden tour in the mid-summer time with everything growing. But for now, our gardens have expanded by at least half in every direction. Just so you know, it's hard to do justice to the size that we see out here. I'm not sure if you can see it, but you know, you saw the fence enclosure, and now that it's open, it's just gone and bigger, but it's much bigger than you will perceive on the camera. That dark area, those are the new beds. They are rolling hills. The lower portion is the walkway, so it's pretty much some permanent raised beds that do not have sides to them. So we will keep their shape, and we will broad fork them, and we will not till them. We will just add goodies over the years, add compost and good soil. There are 8 60-foot beds. There's strawberry patches down here, and the elderberries are growing inside of the strawberry patch. Is that a good idea? I'll let you know in the future. For now, they're just gonna coexist. Elderberry tree right in the middle of a strawberry bed. I'll let you know if that's awesome or not. My mic is gone, so we have to use regular mic. So you're catching what we hear day and night. Cicadas, you hear them? I don't know where you're watching this from, but cicadas came about 2 weeks ago, and they're here to stay for 4 months. Nasty bug. For those of you who've been asking about Reedwood Creek t-shirts, sorry, we're out of stock. But if you wait long enough, we'll hook you up with one for the price of regular t-shirts. I mean, what most people charge for these, we'll charge you the same. But anyway, this is us right here. It's not Redwood Creek. If you YouTube Reedwood Creek, it tries to correct it and says Redwood. No. Reedwood Creek Farm. Make sure you get the Reed part. Did you know that this is our last name? That's what we're looking for. Reedwood Creek Farm.